And here now to respond on behalf of the Trump administration is Peter Navarro, White House National Trade Council Director. And Peter, we're going to double tag you here. Melissa and I are both going to take a crack at questioning you on this. I was surprised. I went into the World Trade Organization stats on tariffs around the world. The Europeans have tens of thousands of tariffs on U.S. products. So it's not as though, you know, we're loading on something that they don't have against us. On the other hand, people say we're close to full employment in the United States. We've got record growth going on here. We don't want to upset the apple cart now with these tariffs. How do you respond to that? As maybe necessary as some of these tariffs are, we're going great guns, and you guys are slowing it down with this.
Well, David, certainly you're right that this country has the lowest tariffs and non-tariff barriers in the world, and countries and continents are taking advantage of us. Europe, for example, when we try to sell them a car, it's a tariff of 10% plus a 19% value-added tax. In Germany, 29% against what we have, 2.5%, maybe a 5 to 10% sales tax. That's not fair. But this particular action on steel and aluminum is not about unfair trade practices. It's about national security. As President Trump has said, and he's absolutely correct on this, without an aluminum steel industry, we don't have a country. So all that we're trying to do here with the 232 tariffs is to provide our domestic industries an opportunity to earn a decent rate of return and to invest in this country. And guess what? We've seen that already. Tomorrow, there'll be a groundbreaking, for example, in Ashland, Kentucky, on a new aluminum rolling mill.
Okay.
What's great about that? Hang on, this is a beautiful thing because Appalachia is really the heart of some of the poorest parts of this country. They're going to create new jobs that start at $65,000 a year.
Peter, I hear you, and that is a good thing. I don't want to run out of time, though. I want to address what Kevin Brady said when he said that if you're trying to deal with unfair steel and aluminum, it's really about China, not about these countries. Is it that China dumps steel into our country through Canada and Mexico, or are you targeting the wrong spot?
So I have great respect for Kevin Brady. He's a great American. He did a great job on the tax plan. In this case, this is not about unfair trade. It's not about China. What we have is about 15 countries in the aluminum space and about 20 in the steel space who basically are sending a flood of imports into this country. Of course, part of the problem is this huge overhang of overcapacity by China, but we've also got the same problem across other countries in the universe. So all we're doing here, and these other countries should respect two things. One, they should respect our sovereignty and the right of this president to defend this country, to have an aluminum and steel industry. And number two, these countries should acknowledge that they are the ones who are also running very large trade surpluses with this country at the expense of jobs here in America.
But they're giving us cheap steel to build stuff we need. I mean, I think that's the biggest problem when you look at these tariffs. We use it for everything.
That's the look, we're going to have cheap steel. We're going to have plentiful steel. Think about this, Melissa. The day we announced the aluminum steel tariffs, we had Century Aluminum in Hawesville, Kentucky, announce $150 million modernization and expansion. We had U.S. Steel announce the reopening of Granite City, Illinois. As I said, tomorrow we're going to see a new aluminum rolling mill. We're going to be rolling in steel, but it's going to be good pun there, but it's going to be steel and aluminum made with American hands by American men and women at good wages. That'll provide solid tax base to communities like in Appalachia that have been ravaged by the forces of globalization.
All right, Peter, let me ask you about some of the successes you had and why this wasn't successful dealing with Mexico and Canada. Brazil, South Korea, Argentina, you came to terms. You were able to avoid the same kind of tariffs with them. What were the sticking points with Mexico and Canada?
Well, I wouldn't say it was unsuccessful what happened. I mean, we imposed tariffs on aluminum steel on many countries. We gave the opportunity
it worked in Brazil and South Korea. Why didn't it work in Mexico and Canada?
Australia. They chose not to offer a reasonable quota, and we had to put the tariffs on. See, the problem here, David, is that if you give any one country preferential treatment, then you'll see two things happen. One, there'll be transshipments by the other countries to avoid the tariffs. And two, you'll see a significant increase in domestic production in those countries and flooding in. So we had to have the system in place. It's unfortunate that we couldn't come to an agreement with Mexico, Canada, and Europe, but they will have the same tariffs.
Let me just
in the
ask
interest
one
of
more
national
question
security.
about Mexico, because they are, a lot of people think they're the most important trading partner we have, not in terms of size, but they're right next door, and there are all sorts of political implications with immigration. They've got a leftist guy who's probably going to win the presidency. This kind of plays into his rhetoric. Are you concerned about unintended consequences of this kind of playing into political instability on our southern border?
Look, the consequences of this are that we're going to have more steel and aluminum made with American hands. We're going to have more investment here in America, and our partners around the world that we trade with are going to understand that this president, President Donald J. Trump, is going to make sure we have fair and reciprocal trade that defends this country in the national interest. That's all we're trying to do here.
The price of all those things that you're talking about is going to go up by definition. And that's going to eat into the tax cuts that you guys just created.
Well, not by definition, because what happens, what you'll see here, Melissa, is these new plants come online in the United States. You'll see plenty of aluminum steel around. It'll just be made by American hands. That's the difference. And by the way, this economy under President Trump is doing amazing. I mean, we've got the highest consumer confidence.
We wouldn't want to see it slowing down at all. I mean, we are all for a booming economy.
The tariffs have been in place. Look, we've had tariffs in place since January. Solar, dishwasher, steel, aluminum. The economy's going great.
I don't buy a lot of solar panels myself, but let me ask you.
Well, shame on you.
Shame on you.
All right, let me recover here for a second. That was pretty funny. What could they offer in exchange that would take the tariffs off? I mean, is it about lowering tariffs on our steel going back in, or what would be, what's the trade you're looking for there?
So that's a great question, and deep in the weeds in economics, the only difference between a tariff and a quota is with a tariff, the United States gets the money. With a quota, the foreign producers get the money. So that's what was in it for them, and South Korea saw the virtue of that. Argentina saw the virtue of that. We weren't able to reach any kind of accommodation with Europe, Canada, or Mexico, but that's okay. We needed to do what we needed to do for national security purposes. And they're our allies yesterday, they're our allies tomorrow, they're our allies today. But this president needs to do what we have to do to defend this country and to make American steel and American aluminum with American hands.
Hey, Peter Navarro, thank you very much for taking the time. By the way, as soon as you come up with an invention of solar panels for apartments in Manhattan, we're in with you.
Melissa, there are these like New York tax credits for solar. I mean,
I know the LEED certified buildings. The problem is nothing works in those buildings. So well, another time. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Have it run your lava lamp.
There you go.
Good to see you, Peter. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.